Hello and welcome to the Overly Animated Podcast, where we take animation seriously. We provide fan-oriented and analytic discussion on a variety of your favorite animated shows, movies, and anime, currently featuring Steven Universe, Miraculous Ladybug, the new Powerpuff Girls, Star vs. the Forces of Evil, Ruby, and more. I'm Justin Cummings, and today I'm joined by Michelle Anderer.
Hello, everyone.
Today, Michelle and I'm the enthusiastic one today. I don't know what is up with people.
What? What do you mean?
This is the third podcast I've done today, and I've always been the hyper one today, and it's kind of sad.
I feel like hyper and enthusiastic are, like, similar, but not quite the same.
Okay. But, Michelle and I, we are here once more for the wonderful Steven Universe Roundtable. This week, Michelle and I will be discussing weapons. All things Steven Universe weapons. This is going to be a rather sharp podcast, if I do say so myself.
Oh my god. How long have you been waiting to make that one, Justin?
Well, if I'm being blunt, then...
oh, no! Too many at once, my
God. Have I made my point?
Stop! Please stop.
Many more to come, folks. So we're going to talk about the weapons we've seen, how they work, theories, what other gems might have as their weapons, all kinds of cool stuff. I think this is going to be a different episode, but I think it'll be fun. What do you think, Michelle?
It'll be something for sure.
That's
all I can guarantee these people.
An official podcast.
Be official.
You can find all of our other roundtables and all our shows at overlyanimated.com or by searching Overly Animated on iTunes or your favorite podcatcher. And what's my favorite podcatcher, Michelle?
What is it, Justin?
I think you know, because my favorite podcatcher is Stitcher.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is, actually. And the reason I mentioned Stitcher again... Guys, rate us on Stitcher, please. The top animation list on Stitcher is so bare bones that there are podcasts that haven't updated in like 2 years on that list.
Does not surprise me at all.
So, don't diss Stitcher. It's the second biggest podcatcher. So, go on there, guys. Rate us on Stitcher. Okay, so... I don't know where to start with this, because it's such a broad topic.
Honestly.
So, here's where we're going to start. Every gem has a weapon.
Yes, this is true.
This is a true fact. These weapons come from their gems.
Mm-hmm.
And it seems that these weapons are based on species? Or is it by individual?
I always thought it was by individual.
Because if it's by individual, when do they find out their weapon? Is it when they're first created, or is it when they first go to use their weapon?
That's a really good question. I guess I assumed either, like, if there were, like, say, like, a Ruby soldier was first created, she would, like, figure it out by watching other Ruby soldiers summon their weapon.
Well, here's the thing. Our Ruby, Garnet Ruby, has the one gauntlet, as we saw in Keystone Motel. Mm-hmm. But Eyeball has the little dagger, as we saw in Bubbled.
Yeah.
So, did our Ruby not get the gauntlet until Garnet happened? Or, like, how does that work?
I don't know.
Do Rubies have different weapons?
Rubies might have different weapons, which is a fascinating idea, because technically they're all, like, the same rank, and you'd assume they don't have exactly the same job. Maybe that's not true. It's
possible. My theory with that one is there's, like, 3 different kinds of Rubies, maybe. So you have, like, you have, like, the stealth Ruby, like the rogue Ruby who runs with the dagger. You have the warrior Ruby with the gauntlet, and then you have maybe like a mage Ruby with like, I don't know, something. The point is, you have like different kinds of Ruby who are all the same level, but different jobs.
That would make sense.
Because they're grunts.
If they're grunts, there's like a million of them, so to section them off that way would make a lot of sense, actually. Yeah, I agree with that.
And this is a weird way to start the podcast, but it raises the question, if Sapphire fused with Eyeball, or one of the other, I guess, stealth/rogue Rubies,
different weapon?
What would Garnet's weapons be?
I don't know. Does Sapphire even have a weapon?
There's the other question that comes with Garnet. We're just diving in, folks. We're not holding back. This is just going to be a very fluid podcast. We're just going to be spitballing cool weapon ideas for the next hour, 40 minutes, hour, whatever. Strap in. This is going to be great. So, does Sapphire have a weapon? Because Garnet's weapon is just 2 gauntlets. And it's Ruby's gauntlet, so what's Sapphire's weapon?
I don't know. Maybe that brings up, like, maybe all gems... Ooh, because also I was thinking, like, Peridot doesn't really... Like, she had, like, a manufactured weapon, but she didn't have, like...
Well, I'm thinking, does Peridot have a weapon that we haven't seen?
She just know about?
Exactly.
Like, maybe...
She didn't know she had magnetism.
That would be interesting. So maybe Sapphire does have a weapon, but she's never, like, tried to find it because she never thought, like, she'd have a use for it.
Correct.
That's really interesting. I don't know.
And it starts the fight as to whether or not there are the powers and the weapons are the same. Because like, does her future count basically
as a weapon?
Yeah, because the same way we have Peridot's magnetism, Lapis's water wings, do those replace the weapon?
Oh, that's a good question. Yeah, because Lapis's water powers are kind of a weapon. In the sense that you don't need to use a weapon as a weapon. She doesn't need to use her water as a weapon, but she can if she wants to.
Correct.
That's a
it's
really
like
good
a tool.
Question.
So see, now the question is, do all gems have a gem weapon? Because we assumed from the first episode, because it was a big deal, Steven getting his gem weapon, do all gems have a gem weapon?
Yeah, that also makes me wonder about pearls, because you'd think pearls would never have a use for a weapon, given their station, so...
Well, is it possible...
Did Pearl get a spear?
Is it possible it started as something like a broom? Some kind of servanty item. And when she rebelled, Pearl crafted it into a weapon.
That makes a lot of sense, because, she keeps, like, so many things inside that gem. Like, we've seen her pull, like, Lapis's mirror, and, like, ribbons, and, like, so many things out of that thing. So, like, that makes sense, yeah! She could totally have made her own weapon through projection, and just adjusted it from something servant-like. I think that's really interesting. Because, like, also, I know there's a fan theory going, just, like, because Pearl, we see Rebel Pearl, not really Rogue, but using swords a lot, and a lot of people are like, oh, is this like before she like learned how to use her own weapon? Like, did she just use swords and get really good at that? Because we never see like super old her using a spear. That's a very like modern weapon in terms of her. So maybe
is it possible that before she kind of crafted her weapon, she used swords? And who would teach her sword fighting but Rose?
Yeah, probably Rose, honestly.
So this is going to be an interesting podcast. I'm excited now. Like, we are deep in fan theory mode already. And so this also raises the question, I don't know where to go next. I kind of want to go to fusions.
Oh, whoa.
Because fusion weapons are a fun topic.
Sure. Yeah, fusion weapons are really interesting.
This is my brother's favorite aspect of the show. Granted, he's 6. The first time he ever saw a fusion was Smoky Quartz, because he just happened to catch an episode with me.
Oh, and he lucked out. Smoky Quartz is an awesome first fusion.
He spent the day running around, Mom, she has a yo-yo!
So cute. I'm
so
happy.
And it's interesting, because I would have never anticipated the yo-yo, personally.
Yeah, me neither. Like, that was a surprise. But it ended up being such a cool, fun weapon.
So, I think what I'm going to do with this, and we will come back to theories more soon, but since we brought up Garnet, this does raise an interesting question. So I'm going to pull up a list of gem weapons that we know in Steven Universe.
Okay.
And we're going to see how they would all fuse. We're going to... This is what I'm thinking to do. We'll see how this goes. Alright, so, first off, because we know... Okay. Ones we know that Pearl's spear and Amethyst whip becomes the bow.
Yes, Opal's bow.
Does the new additions to their weapons change the bow? Because we haven't seen Opal since they got their upgrades in Bismuth.
I don't think it changes the bow. I've noticed Opal's outfit was slightly different in the return than it was from Giant Woman, but like that's a very marginal change.
I mean... Because now Pearl's spear is the trident. Does that give her maybe like a... Does she use that like a scope, kinda?
I don't know. Like I don't know if that would affect the fusion or not of the weapons. Because we haven't really seen them fuse since then. Yeah, it's a good question. I can't say for sure either way at this point. I would imagine not for some reason, but
I feel like
surprised.
I feel like visually it would, but practically no.
Practically no?
And I feel like it wouldn't have, like, a lot of effect, no.
Okay.
Alright, so then, of course, other fusions we know Garnet and Amethyst have the what do you call that? The mace? The
giant fist with the swingy thing?
Well, let's see what the official website calls it. Okay, the official website calls it a flail.
Flail. What's a flail? Okay.
Sugalite's weapon is a flail.
Yeah, that's what a flail is. I don't know how to describe it, but yeah, it's kind of like a mace, I guess.
Yeah.
In a way. Yeah.
Then,
which is really cool, actually, as a weapon.
So we talked about the bow. We talked about the flail. Of course, Garnet and Pearl have the hammer.
The hammer is so cool. It's just very, like, kind of snazzy as a weapon, which I think is, like, amazing, and it fits Sardonyx as a character so well. So I'm a big fan of the hammer.
And then, of course, we have the yo-yo.
Yes. Yo-yo is also, like, a fun... The yo-yo is probably the most fun weapon out of all those.
Well, it's from the most fun people.
Yeah, exactly. It makes so much sense to be a yo-yo. It's like Steven and Amethyst. Like, of course. Like, I don't think anyone would have, like, foreseen it being a yo-yo, but as soon as we saw it, we were like, oh yeah, that makes sense. That's exactly what those two would concoct together.
Okay, so Ian Jones Quarterly has confirmed Lapis's hydrokinesis is her weapon.
That's her weapon. Okay.
Yes, so that is her weapon. So so not every gem has to have a physical weapon.
That's really interesting.
That is confirmed now.
Does that mean the Peridot's, like, metal powers are also technically her weapon?
From the wiki, Peridot currently has no summonable weapon, but has the power to control iron and other such metals. Yeah, we don't know. So we don't know if she has one, but it has not been confirmed that this is her only power. So it's possible. It's possible she has something. So hopefully there's more weapons there. But let's think about other fusions possible. What would we get? Let's start with Steven, because Steven's interesting.
Okay.
What would happen if Steven fused with Pearl?
What kind of weapon?
Because my theory on this, because you have to think not about, like, how they would actually work, but, like, aesthetically how they'd go together.
Okay.
I'm thinking an umbrella.
An umbrella? Oh!
I expect some kind of either Mary Poppins or Geisha Warrior or something, because Steven loves Kung Fu movies. And I could see Steven pulling some Geisha Warrior umbrella that turns into a katana or something like that.
Oh, I was gonna ask how the umbrella would function as a weapon, but okay.
If, like, the edges have blades, it's Steven. He wants a cool Kung Fu movie weapon. But
it's also, like, Pearl, though, and I feel like Amethyst, like, having a fun weapon with Steven makes sense, because she's also, like, a very, like, fun person in a way that, like, I feel like Pearl's more...
I feel like the umbrella would be wielded kind of like a bow staff or something, so it would be very elegant in design, it would have very traditional movements that would come from Pearl, but it would also have more Steven-y trick elements to it, and balance kind of the two.
That would be really fun to watch. If it was, like, a very precise fusion using this umbrella as a weapon.
Like, I feel like that's...
because awesome.
That's all I can think is, like, the shield sitting on the spear.
Honestly, that would look like...
I'm curious if there are fan theories about what their weapons would be.
I am sure there are fan theories. Please tell us if you have theories.
Yeah, if you have a theory about weapons, let us know, because we kind of all want to know now.
Yeah, seriously.
One theory is that the weapons wouldn't actually fuse. I'm just looking at fan art, so if I don't credit you and it's your fan art, I am so sorry. Just looking at fan art, though, I see, like, a shield, and then Pearl's spear basically becoming, like, a scimitar, or another, like, curved sword, kind of. So staying separate.
Okay.
But keeping kind of the spear aspect of her weapon.
Oh god, that makes me wonder, because we never saw Rainbow Quartz's weapon. What do you think that would have been like? Because maybe it'd be very similar to her and Steven's weapon.
Yes, that's another question. Is Rainbow Quartz's weapon basically Steven? And that raises the question of if Steven and Pearl fuse instead of Rose and Pearl, but also then we have the question of Sapphire and the two different rubies, but it's the same gem, and so much confusion.
It's a lot of confusion.
This show does not give us much to work with in that department. No, it gives us too much to work with that we get very confused.
A lot of variables, yes.
So many variables. So I think a good theory is the umbrella.
I'm prepared to accept
the umbrella / whatever Rainbow Quartz's weapon is.
Yeah.
This is the episode we would get. We would get Pearl trying to create Rainbow Quartz's weapon.
And like not working.
And like getting frustrated and eventually accepting that Steven's not.
Yeah.
Exactly. And so then if And then they create the umbrella as a sign of Pearl's fusion with Steven, varying in her relationship from Rose. So, hooray, mechanics as narrative, yay. One of my favorite things. Let's see, what would Steven and Garnet give us?
Oh, Steven and Garnet.
Visualize 2 giant gauntlets and a shield.
The fists have to be on that weapon design somewhere.
And the shield, how do you...
For her.
How?
Maybe the fist would be on the top and the shield would be connected like around it like a buffer. And it would be kind of like a gun or something if they could shoot at people. I don't know. It's like hard to think about. Should we look at more fan art?
Let's look at fan art for inspiration.
Yeah, let's look at fan art for inspiration.
Steven, play along at home, fans, and if you see anything you like, let us know.
Fan art. I'm gonna look too.
This has become the most fanficky podcast I've seen. Ooh. Are you seeing what I'm seeing?
Wait, I'm looking at the images. Let me see. Oh God, what the heck? Oh, some of these are really
which
cool.
one are you seeing?
The one with like the shields in the middle and the hands coming out.
The sword?
Yeah, whoa, that's crazy.
Everyone at home, please Google Steven Garnet fusion weapon and just enjoy this moment with us right now. Because I'm seeing a lot of really cool stuff right now that I'm really enjoying. How do people come up with this?
How would that work though? Like,
wait, that's Amethyst in there too, though. I think because I see that it's all 4.
Yeah,
Whoa.
It's like, but like, how would the whip function? I'm wondering if it's wielded from the bottom where the spear pokes through. Like,
also,
how does the whip use?
Now I see the umbrella. Now that we googled Steven Garnet fusion weapon, now I see the umbrella.
Oh my God, you're right. There it is. Oh, it's so pretty too. Oh, I'm so behind this. Yeah.
What do you think about that Beyblade design?
Somebody else thought of this and designed it so beautifully. I love it.
Do you see the Beyblade design?
Yeah, and I like the little quartz gem on top with the star. It's a nice touch. I'm really into this.
I see a nice battle axe I like. So basically, this one, I don't know if that's Pearl's weapon in there too, maybe, but it looks like Sardonyx's Warhammer, but with Steven's shield kind of forming a battle axe around the fists.
Yeah, do you see that one with it looks like, oh yeah, no, we're looking at the exact same one.
Yes, we are.
That actually looks really cool. But my question is, like, the axe is an interesting design as like a take from the shield, but how do the gauntlets function in that?
I think they just kind of form a base around it.
Base?
I think they're just there to kind of support it.
Oh, I see a design for like a drill. That would be cool.
Do I see the drill?
I
see the drill.
Garnet did. Yeah, like that would be so cool. I wonder if the shield, if the gauntlets like merged into one gauntlet and the shield like wrapped around it and became like a huge drill that they could just like drill into enemies. That would be really cool.
Do you see the riot shield? I think you're looking at the riot shield and calling it a drill.
No.
Like, click on the image and see if it says riot shield.
Okay, wait. All right, let me go
back.
I
think we're looking at the same image here.
No, it says rainbow lance, actually.
Oh, wow,
it's a lance! Okay. It looks like
I want a lance, whatever it is.
A lance would be cool, yeah.
We're getting some Voltron in there now, Lance.
Yeah, these are very
cool. That's a Voltron character.
These are really well done.
So, thank you, Steven Community, for helping us out here.
Thank you, Steven Community.
We love you. When our creativity fails, y'all come in handy. So, I think we have a fair amount of ideas for Steven and Garnet.
Yes.
We have Steven Pearl, we're thinking Umbrella. We have Steven Amethyst, is already the Yo-Yo. I'm trying to think what else we need to see. Like, what else we haven't seen yet.
Well, if Steven fused with, like, Lapis or Jasper, that could be interesting.
Steven and Jasper. How do you mix that helmet and the shield?
Maybe it becomes, like, an extension of the helmet to be, like, more of a full body armor.
Ooh.
Because they're both, like, kind of defensive weapons.
Like, if the helmet kind of gets, like, enveloped then, and, like, Rose armor kind of, like... I could see that.
It just, like, grows into something bigger and more impressive than, like, the helmet by itself.
I could see that.
Or the shield by itself. Yeah, that's what I think would happen.
Not that we'll ever see Steven and Jasper... I don't want to say never.
Justin. We never know how long the show's going to go
because
for.
I foresee, and this is my favorite segment of the show, and I give some random fan theory.
God.
End of season 5. Steven and Jasper alone fighting a diamond. Everyone else is defeated. And Steven and Jasper are like, I don't like you either. Like, they've just fixed Jasper. Anyway. They fuse with, like, the most epic handshake thing. Not a hug like Steven Amethyst. It's like
it would be a handshake, sure.
And then, like, we see this kind of, like, hulking, strong...
That was so good!
And then...
Like, everyone's a little more adorable than normal.
And, like, you hear the music, like, dun, 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 and then, like, the helmet comes out, and it, like, turns pink, and just all the armor, and then just armored Steven Jasper fighting a diamond.
Oh, I want this to happen.
This is why we can't do these podcasts, because we get really attached to our ideas.
Jasper, like, really hates Steven, though. Like, I don't know if they'd have such a wonderfully functional fusion.
They would last long enough to beat the diamond and then collapse.
Yeah, then they just, like, collapse immediately, and Jasper's like, okay, that was weird.
It's like, we're never doing that again,
nothing
Rose.
Like Lapis.
I'm not Rose.
Yeah.
So, Steven and Lapis, what do you think we'd get?
I mean, when Lapis used Jasper, she still had her water powers. It was like kind of exactly the same. Like, it could fly, it could use water.
The thing about Malachite is Malachite's weapons never combined. But Malachite was a very unstable fusion.
Yeah, so that makes sense why it wouldn't combine. So if they were in sync...
what would Malachite be like in sync? Oh, God.
Maybe deadly. Have, like, 2 less limbs or something. Yeah. If they were more in sync.
Normal. Relatively normal.
Relatively normal. Though I think Ian also confirmed that the designs have less to do with cohesion of the 2 gems and more about what cool designs look like in general. So yeah. That's okay. We can still pretend we didn't know that.
We're still gonna theorize, because why not?
Maybe, like... the water would give the shield a new property to, like, expand and transform, maybe?
What if,
I don't know.
What if she used the water as, like... What if she, like, wrapped the water around the shield and used it like a disc launcher, kind of?
Oh, that'd be so cool. I don't think that would exactly be, like, the weapons fusing, but that'd be a very, like, proactive use of a fusion.
I feel like the weapons would never actually fuse, but more they would use the hydrokinesis as a way to benefit the shield.
To benefit the shield, yeah. That'd be really cool. Yeah, she could, like, launch it, like, crazy far.
Like, keep the shield kind of floating in whatever water they're controlling.
Yeah! And she could, like, spin it inside the water and then just, like, whip it across, like, a frisbee.
We're thinking the same thing, and I love it.
Yeah, we're in sync right now. I was gonna say fuse, but then I stopped myself.
What is Justin and Michelle's fusion, everyone? No! That is the true question now.
Answer that, please.
Oh, someone on Tumblr is gonna make fan art now of this awful fusion.
Yeah. Okay.
If anyone on this podcast is fusing, though, it's us. Like...
You think so? I don't know. I feel like, because Delaney and Dylan might have done the most podcast period, so maybe they'd be the best candidates for a fusion.
True. But our fusion name is OVA Original.
Ew, no, that's not fusion name. That's just a name you adopted from your brain. That has nothing to do with either of our names.
Then what would our name be? Because I'm Justin and you're Michelle.
I don't, Justin, we're getting off track. We have to go back.
Okay, back to weapons.
Thank God. Okay, yes. Gem weapons.
We're running out of weapons, aren't we? Okay, so it's not confirmed that Peridot does not have a summonable weapon. So what would her weapon be?
I mean, she does have future vision, though.
Peridot.
Peridot! Oh, they were talking about Garnet. Peridot.
Garnet has a summonable weapon.
Yeah, I know she does. But I thought you meant, like, because those are, like, sort of rubies, like, but they're all Garnets.
I think Sapphire's is just the ability to duplicate the weapons.
What would be a good weapon for a Peridot? I mean, that's the thing, though, because Peridots they're, like, techs. They're not, like...
Sonic Screwdriver from Doctor Who.
Yeah, like a tool weapon, like a hammer or a screwdriver.
A legitimate, like an electric drill.
Yeah, actually, I think an electric drill would be, like, pretty badass.
But not like a handheld electric drill. It would be like a gauntlet electric drill. Because, come on, we need something cool looking. it would like wrap around her hand and she'd just be like, meow.
That might be too cool for Peridot, though. When I think Peridot, I don't think like cool. I think huge.
So you
nerd.
think just like a legitimate like Black & Decker electric handheld drill?
Yes, exactly. It's like she has an episode where she's like honing in on her skills to pull a weapon out, and that's like all that comes out. And she's like, what?
She's like, all of this work for this?
Yeah, that'd be so amazing.
And the best part is, it doesn't come with its own batteries. And so she has to carry battery packs with her in case her weapon dies.
Like a little fanny pack on her hip, like full of batteries for like an opponent. And when an opponent comes, she's like, wait, give me a second. She like fumbles in her fanny pack and like pulls out the batteries and like puts them in. I would love that so much.
I googled Peridot weapon. All I got is her holding a piece of bread. Is this a weapon?
A piece of bread?
Is this a weapon?
Oh my god, wait, let me see. Oh, I see her with like a mace thing.
Yeah,
or
something like a mace or blades or...
Why, people? Why are you giving Peridot
Power Scythe.
Oh my god. Wow.
Peridot as an actual slice of key lime pie.
Oh, I see her with like a military gun. That's not a very exciting... Oh, I see the bread. That's the best. That's the best weapon.
Peridot holding an AK-47. Is this also used to fight the cavities?
Oh my god. SU fans, though.
We're a strange little fandom.
We're not little. We are huge now. Massive fandom. Full weirdos.
Is mayonnaise a weapon?
Oh my god, thank you.
No, Peridot, mayonnaise is not a weapon.
Horseradish is not a weapon either.
I appreciate that far more than I should.
Oh no, I love... SpongeBob quotes is like my life, Justin.
Yeah. So, ignoring the bevy of Peridot fan art we have found.
Ignoring
because there's so much.
Actually.
A lot of people actually do like the mace. I'm seeing the mace more than once. I like the mace.
It's just a different kind of weapon. Yeah, I like it aesthetically.
Alright, so that's, I think, all of the... Oh! Do the diamonds have a weapon?
They must have a weapon.
But
that brings up such a good point, though, because, like, all the aristocratic gems, we never see them using a weapon.
Ah, but the diamonds are above the aristocrats.
Do you think they have a weapon?
The creator gods of this world have a weapon.
The creator gods of this... Maybe their intellect's their weapon, though.
Their ability to make... Okay, what is the... The theory is that the blinding light is a fusion weapon. Like the corruption beam?
I thought there was just like a nuke, essentially.
There's a theory it's a fusion weapon of the diamonds.
I mean, maybe, but I'm a little skeptical to believe that. One thing that I was wondering about is, like, in the mural, you can see White Diamond. She's, like, holding some kind of energy ball in her palm. And that's not her weapon, or her gem, because her gem's in her forehead. And on the mural, you also see her holding, like... Well, you don't see her, but you see Rose Quartz holding a diamond, like, directed at her. So, like, I always wondered if that was some kind of...
Yeah.
energy. I don't know. Oh, I bet their weapons are so cool, though. And, like, massive. Like, the equivalent of what, like, Opal's bow would look like, but, like, 10 times more impressive just because they're so physically huge. I don't know. What kind of weapon do you think a diamond would have?
Something I almost feel like they wouldn't, because in order for them to have a weapon, it would have to be so incomprehensible to us. You know what I mean?
I think so. That's a really good question. I've never even thought of that, what a diamond weapon would be. I feel like they must have a weapon.
They
must
have
have a weapon. Yeah.
Because eventually we're gonna see a fight with a diamond, and if they don't have a weapon,
pull it out, we're gonna be like, oh, it's gonna be so good. I'm excited.
And it's going to be amazing. So they have to have a weapon eventually.
Yeah, they do.
And last, what is their weapon question before we move on to Bismuth talk about physical weapons and gems. And that's going to be our last topic, I think. Last question. What is Centipedal's weapon?
Oh. What kind of role did Centipedal
pilot / exploration / infantry.
They didn't seem like a warrior. So, like, technically, maybe they never knew they had a weapon, kind of like Peridot.
I feel like they might have had a weapon. Like, I really do. I want to at least theorize, because we don't know what Centipedal would have been like uncorrupted, really.
Well, what kind of weapon would make sense for their job, do you think? Like,
well, think about it. It doesn't necessarily have to do with their job, because Amethyst, by all accounts, shouldn't have a whip. She's a quartz. A quartz shouldn't have a whip.
Why shouldn't a quartz have a whip? I mean, quartz has also had helmets and, shields. Why not a whip?
Because I thought, didn't Bismuth say something specifically about Amethyst's whip?
No, I don't know if it was about her whip, more about her height.
Because, I mean, the fact that because a quartz quartzes typically have more traditional, like, muscular weapons. Or, like, the shield in, Rose's case. But, the fact that it's always some kind of, like, offensive, like, very strong, like, frontline charging battle weapon.
Mm-hmm. You feel like a whip is out of place in that kind of general battle-esque theme?
Yeah.
Maybe more amethysts have more tradition, because that's the thing with the rubies. Like, the rubies varied in terms of their weapon by, like, a lot. Like, a little dagger versus, like, a gauntlet seems like a pretty big difference.
Yeah.
So maybe it's just a question of, like, for her being a particular amethyst, she ended up with a whip. But maybe other amethysts had swords or...
That seems possible.
Things. Yeah.
Like, that I believe. That other amethysts had different weapons.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think, honestly.
So, are we just completely no ideas on Centipedal?
I honestly have no clue. We only had one episode of Backstory with Centipedal, unfortunately, even though it was a really good episode. What other kind of... Okay, hang on. I'm gonna try to do this justice for you.
We have to figure out Centipedal's weapon, because this is our new goal in life.
I'm not, like, up on the amount of... Okay, here we go. Ooh.
Did you Google weapons?
Yes, I did! Maybe she had nunchucks or bombs. God, bombs would be cool.
What
or
about...
maybe she had, like... Oh, go ahead.
Actually, I like the bomb idea, but what if she had a bow staff?
Oh, yeah. That would be so cool. I'd be into that.
Because most traditional martial arts weapons we have still not gotten into. Mm-hmm. Like, you really want to talk weapons, we could have kamas, we could have tonfas, we could have nunchucks, bow staffs.
It'd be so cool to see somebody with, like, a crossbow weapon. That would be really awesome. And that actually might make a really good fusion weapon for two people.
Or a scythe.
Yeah! A scythe would be cool.
See, there's so many awesome weapons and not enough gems for them all. That's the issue we're having.
We just haven't seen them summon them yet. That'd be really cool. If we ever get, like, a legit flashback to, like, the battle, maybe we'll see a lot more kinds of weapons.
Just, like, that's what I would love. It's just, like, quick cameo of, like, every imaginable weapon.
Yeah, that'd be so cool. Because on the Strawberry Battlefield, I remember, like, a lot of axes and a lot of swords, but not a ton else, so I'd like to see more diversity in weapons if we got a proper flashback.
Yeah, I think we will.
That should exist.
Yeah, we have to see more weapons eventually. That's the thing. So... I
really like the idea of Jasper and Steve infusing to have, like, weaponized armor. That'd be so cool.
I know I said we were going to do Bismuth next. I do want one more question.
Okay.
Just, what other weapons do you want to see now in the Steven universe?
I want to see bombs.
We want bombs! That's definitely a takeaway from this segment.
Or, like, some kind of, like, blasting... Like, I really like Peridot's, like...
Her, like,
handmade weapon.
The hand cannon
that
thing.
Cool. Like, that kind of a weapon I think would be really interesting. Or even, like, I don't know, like, I actually do. I think seeing, like, either a crossbow or a bow and arrow would be really interesting. I've always been a fan of those kind of weapons.
I would love a crossbow.
Or even, like, a slingshot. I don't know, like, some kind of, like, projectile thing.
I feel like Peridot's weapon might actually be a slingshot. Because that's all she deserves as a weapon.
That or a screwdriver. Yeah, seriously.
See, if it's possible that they kind of do have to pick out their weapon, if Paradox just like scrolling through like the dumbest weapons possible.
Yeah, seriously.
Like electric handheld drill,
that'd be so...
slingshot.
Yeah, she looks at like human weapons that are all like battery powered, and you're like, this is what I want. Everyone's like, okay, Paradox, that's fine. You do you.
I just saw fan art of Corrupted Lion, and I'm scared.
Oh my god, no. We're not gonna talk about lions.
No, not a weapon, just a corrupt lion, like...
Oh, I don't wanna... Oh, that's sad.
It's sad, and it's scary, and I don't like it. So,
what if somebody could have a cannon weapon? That'd be cool.
Like the laser light cannon?
Yeah, but like, it comes from their body.
So, let's go full on Transformers, a gem that turns into a cannon.
Well, I mean, Amethyst could probably do that, but...
Yeah, why have we not...
That'd be really
Things
cool.
I want. Sardonyx wielding Amethyst as a weapon.
Oh my god, that'd be so... She'd be so into that, too. She'd be so on board.
Like, think about Transformers Season 1, where, like, Megatron turned into just a gun. That's what I want Amethyst to be. Just turn into a weapon and use Amethyst as the weapon.
She did turn into a beach ball at one point. She could probably turn into a weapon, too.
We have thrown her at the...
yeah, exactly.
At the Red Eye.
Oh, and at the Red Eye. That way, she didn't transform that. She just...
No, they just literally just picked her up and threw her.
Yeah, that was really good.
I think I'm weakening it.
Where are we going in the conversation from here?
Bismuth.
And okay.
Physically made gem weapons. Specifically, we have Rose's sword, and we have all of the gem attachments, and then we also have the laser light cannon.
Yes,
those are, to the best of my knowledge, all the physical weapons we know of. Oh, and the what's the one that...
breaking point.
The breaking point. That one. Yeah, I was gonna say the evil one that should never be used.
Evil one.
So, why did Gem start making physical weapons, as opposed to just using gem weapons?
Maybe it's a thing that they adapted from Earth culture, because us as humans, we tend to make our own since we can't summon them, and that way they could enhance them in ways that they personally wanted to. It didn't have to just deal with, like, whatever came out of their gem fully formed.
What about the homeworld weapon, the Disruptor, the thing that Jasper used to break Garnet? The little handheld gem disruptor thing that, like, split Garnet up. You know what I'm talking about?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I do.
That's physically made, too, to the best of our knowledge.
Yes, it's definitely gem-made technology.
So, did they start making these because all gems don't have a weapon?
No. I think that was more just, like, as a precaution against rebellious gems in general.
Right.
Because it's like the epitome of, like, shutting someone down without killing them is to just render them in their gem form.
Basically a taser.
Like, I feel like, it's like a taser. It's a precautionary weapon, but it's not... I don't think it's, like, so much about, like, whether or not their opponent has the power to fight them with the weapon. Right. Just, like, to maintain them if they're a problem, but they need them for, like, questioning or something later.
Yeah. So, Bismuth's attachments, like the trident tip and the knuckles and the Morningstar thing,
yeah,
those stayed even once the gems put their weapons back in their gem. Why?
Yeah. Magic gem properties that Bismuth knew how to incorporate.
So why couldn't Rose put her sword in her gem?
Maybe she didn't want to.
Because it's in the Lion. Wait, Lion's a whole separate category. He's Mary Poppins' bag with feet.
He is Mary Poppins' bag.
So, do they have to be attached to the gem weapon? Does attaching these things to the gem weapon give them kind of the properties of the gem weapon? Basically fuse them. Create like a fusion weapon. That's my working theory.
Maybe. It's just like they might not be like, active until they're attached to the main weapon, and then they become fully functioning.
Like, I don't think Pearl could have put her, just like the trident part in her gem and then pulled it out as a weapon, but because she attached it to the spear, then she could.
Okay.
That's my theory.
I mean, I think that makes sense. Like, as little as we know about that, I think that makes a lot of sense.
So, theoretically, I'm trying to think, like, why wouldn't you then...
Could Rose, like, put the sword stick it on the shield and have some cool, like, combo?
Well, or at least, like, at least create, like, a sheath built into the shield that she could put the sword in, so she could at least store it. Like, attach the scabbard to the shield, and then store her sword there.
I mean, maybe she did, honestly. Maybe she fought that way for a bit, but then when she knew she was not going to be in action anymore, she took it out and put it in line for later. She's like, Steven's young, like, he can't handle both these together, so when he's older, Lion will help him out and give him the sword, and then he can figure it out, because he's a smart kid. He's half of me. It's all good.
What else was in her armory?
Oh, so much.
I'm trying to think, because there's, like, a lot of cool weapons in there.
The light cannons.
Yeah, there's the lights.
Oh god, what was it called? The one that Steven calls, the metal, the, like, Iron Lady and her metal dealies.
Yeah,
the Heretic's Anguish.
The Heretic's Anguish. Which ones? I have the thing.
So many swords.
Yeah, the Heretic's Anguish. The Axes of Ages, the Armor of the Fallen.
Axes of Ages.
Literally.
Armor of the Fallen.
Do you have the page pulled up too? Or is it just
No,
me?
I don't. I love that episode, so I just remember them as soon as you say them.
There's a giant penny.
That's not a weapon. I think she's just like, yo.
And it says United States of America on it.
Yeah.
There's just... Oh, I get to why it's in there. It's a reference to the Bat Cave, which also had a giant penny. So Rose is just a fan of pop culture. That's what we're learning.
Yeah, she is. She's a big pop culture fan. As is Steven, honestly. I think all his pop culture paraphernalia, including, like, Sailor Moon, manga, and, like, everything.
A friend of mine were arguing about Steven's pop culture stuff because he had a lot of games in the background of his React video extra. And I'm like, the game that title is based off is rated M. Steven should not be playing that unless the content of that game is severely different from the game it's based on. And we're just arguing about whether or not these games are appropriate for Steven.
I'm so glad you found someone in your life you can do that with. That makes me really happy for you, Justin.
Because it means you don't have to?
No. I wasn't thinking that at all. I was just happy for you.
Well, thank you. Alright. I think we've about covered everything we can cover here.
Yeah.
I think this has been a really fun episode.
Interesting one.
We could literally just sit here theorizing for hours, but I think this is all the intelligent conversation we'll get.
Yeah.
Let us know, guys. Tell us what weapons you want to see, what theories you have about weapons, be it like the more, not metaphysical, but the more concrete stuff, like how do they work, how do they function, why does the attachment work, or just theories like I think the weapon would be this, and have this, and do this, and be an umbrella, and we'll take anything. We just love hearing from you guys, so let us know. Hit us up wherever it is you're listening. Find us on Twitter and Tumblr. Those links are on the website. See, any other things you want to discuss?
No. We've gone past 40, so...
Well, I mean, do you have any final words?
Final words. I'm like really into the Steven Jasper fusion actually right now.
I want that battle armor.
Because I think the animation sequence would be so great.
I want this
like
so
my
bad
main
now.
reason. Yeah, I would love that. That's my final thought.
Hashtag Steven Jasper fusion, or however you want to, let's shorten that. Hashtag Stasper.
Stasper! Ooh, I like that! I like Stasper.
Hashtag Stasper. Alright, guys, if you like us, leave us a review on iTunes, rate us on Stitcher, all that kind of stuff helps us be found by more people, and then you guys have more people to theorize with, and it just helps everybody. And if you want to support us financially, you can do so at patreon.com/overlyanimated. You get all kinds of cool bonuses, including getting your name and Patreon-exclusive nickname read on every podcast. Thank you so much to our current patrons: Mitch, Cordell, Beatrice, Nate, Andy, Jamie, Rachel, John, Ryan, Catherine, Taylor, Devon, Jade, John Foundation, Victoria, Katrin, and Steve, a.k.a. Fever, Mitch, Cordell University, Beatrix Strange, Nathan Fillion, Buzz Lightyear, Mailman, Rachel Rose, Johnny Bravo, Brian, Cookie Cat, Needle, Diamond Day, Jewel, Garfield, Fusion, Skylar, Patron, Katrin, and frequent commenter Steve.
Frequent commenter Steve finally became a patron! Yay!
And his name is frequent commenter Steve now.
Oh, you're serious?
We already had a name. Why change it?
God.
He already had a nickname.
Amazing. I bet he's happy.
He is very happy. He suggested it.
That's amazing. I'm so glad.
Thank you guys so much for listening. Tune in. We'll have a lot of podcasts coming up. I believe this is going up first of all the stuff I've worked through today. We have another Fantasy Survivor coming up of Miraculous Ladybug versus Star versus the Forces of Evil. We have Dylan and I's Year of Animation and Review. We got a lot of stuff coming up. Yes.
Justin, question. When are this is like not important, but when are we gonna do Total Drama Season 2 or
Okay, so point? Season 2 Part 1 will be either next week or the week after.
God, okay. I need to watch so many episodes.
We're coming on okay, you only have to watch 13 though.
That's
so
true.
For all wondering, our next podcast will cover from Monster Catch up through Oceans 8 or 9, that's the name of that episode. So the first 13 episodes of Total Drama Action, that will be in December, I promise. I have a mission for you, Michelle, if you choose to accept
it. A mission?
The Little Prince.
Little Prince. Oh!
We must...
Wait, is that out?
That's on Netflix. Already? It's on Netflix.
Oh, yeah, let's do it! I'd love to.
Alright, one day we will do The Cat Returns, I promise.
One day.
One day.
It's alright.
Alright, so those are a couple of our upcoming podcasts. Keep an eye out for everything, guys. We'll see you later, and have a great time. Bye.
Good Sunday. Bye.